Welcome to the Carr Brothers with Jeff, Jack, and Jody Carr. They talk about current events, politics, community, and business. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the Carr Brothers Show. It's episode 162. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jody, the third of the three Carr Brothers.
What about me?
What?
You got a guest. You have a guest here.
We do.
In fact,
and he happens to be related to us. So it's the Carr Cousins Show.
Carr Cousins Show.
We have an amazing guest with us here tonight.
We have a declaration.
Yes. Mr. Brad Woodside.
So there is no conflict. We are, in fact, related. My grandmother was a Carr from Gary.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
And which.
And this is the first time that I've ever publicly admitted that.
Wow.
Now that the three are out of politics.
Well, the ratings will just keep right on going.
Yeah, they will.
Wow.
Skyrocket.
So which grandmother and how'd that go again?
Tell us.
My grandmother was Mina Carr.
Mina.
Was related to Spurgeon.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And then so then you're related to Ed and Hilda.
Yes.
Related to, yeah.
And then a whole bunch just goes right from there.
That's where all this good stuff comes from, down in Gary.
Does it mean we have to have all the Carr cousins on now, or
Well, perhaps.
or maybe you can speak on behalf
That'll
of
keep us in business for a while, though.
We could have a gig at the Aiken Center.
Well, we are very pleased, and we're always so proud, though, to know that we're related to Brad Woodside.
We've always said that.
Yeah.
I've been proud of you guys too. You've done a great job.
Well, we're really honored that you're here with us tonight.
All right, now let's not get emotional.
We'll save that for the end. Okay. But pleased to have you on, Brad Woodside. For some people that may not know, longest serving mayor. I don't know who they'd be, Jack. 8 terms you've served, 27 years as mayor, and first elected in 1980. So happy to have you on the show.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. 10 terms. 10 terms.
Total.
8 as mayor and 2 as councillor and deputy mayor.
Well, what, and I know we can talk about before you're in council, you're on the radio, did that. And
and I wanted an opportunity to say that the best fun I've ever had in my life, the best thing I've ever done in my life was radio. No question. It's not even close. Radio is so much fun. Mm-hmm. And you had a chance to make a difference in people's lives. Yeah. You were there at their most private moments, when they were grieving, when they were happy. Sometimes on a honeymoon, they'd have me along. But
how did you get your start in radio?
Yeah. You know what? People would say, you've got a nice voice. And, of course, I played in a band for a long time. Yes. And all of a sudden I thought, wouldn't that be great? Because I love music so much. I'd love to work at a radio station. So I went to CFNB, and I went with a guy by the name of Bob Marshall on Sunday nights. Every Sunday I showed up, and he would teach me things and tell me how it works and so on and so forth. And then finally I went in, and I said to John Richards, the program director, I said, I'd like to try out. And he gave me some things to read, take these home, and like commercials and use stuff like that. And I came back, and John said, look, I want you to go to a small radio station somewhere and get some experience. And I got up from his desk, and I said, you know what? I have nothing to offer you. You have nothing to offer me.
Wow.
But I said, the fact is, you keep bringing people in from Ontario that have no ties to the community. And I said, and somebody will offer them $10 more a week and they're gone. I said, you got a guy that's from here, is not going to leave. Give me a chance. And you won't even do that. So anyway, I drove across the Westmoreland Street Bridge, the old Carlton Street Bridge, okay?
Yeah.
I got home, and I went right to the phone and picked it up. I apologized. I said, I just want it that bad.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm really sorry that I walked out of your office, but I said that shows the passion that I have to get into radio. Within 2 weeks, he called and said, do you want to do some part-time work?
Wow.
So I started the part-time shift. Then he hired me to do the midnight shift. And then he hired me to do the afternoon show, and then I ended up in the morning show. And the midnight shift was the most fun I've ever had, because I was up all night, and people are up all night. They're lonely. They want to talk. They want to play music, and it was just awesome. And politics wouldn't even come close to that. As much fun as that was, and as much as an honor it was, there was nothing like radio.
So you think that Colin making that apology, you think that made the difference?
Well, people should apologize more.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably would have cost me any opportunity had I not been man enough to call and say, I shouldn't have done that. I apologize.
Wow.
And I think that probably made more of a difference.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty cool story.
It's a neat story. Another nice lesson.
Yeah.
Life lesson.
So in 1980, you put your hat in the ring. Was it your first municipal election that
Yeah,
you ran?
it was.
That's the first
Yeah.
one you won. But
Yeah. I was with the JCs at the time, and they were building a new bridge, which is the now Westmoreland Street Bridge. There was a lot of conflict in the community, whether it was good or whether it wasn't good, and people were taking sides. And I was president of my JC group, and I said, you know what, guys, what we should do is we should have the Department of Transportation in and hear their side of the story, and have the opposition in and have their side of the story. And as JCs in the community, we should be involved in this sort of thing. So we had them both in. Most of my friends were on the opposition side. But you know what? The Department of Transportation made a great presentation, which made a good amount of sense. And then the next thing you know, I was standing at the corner of Carlton Street Bridge holding a sign, honk for the Westmoreland Street Bridge, or honk for Westmoreland.
yeah.
And it was after that I thought, this is what I was meant to do. I want to make change in the community. I want to serve the community. And then I ran for council. And it all started because of the Westmoreland Street Bridge.
Wow.
So for our viewers that wouldn't know, Brad, tell us what JC's is.
Junior Chamber of Commerce.
There you go.
Yep, I got my, I really became a person or a man when I was with the Junior Chamber of Commerce, because I was a stockroom clerk at 123 York Street, provincial motor sales. I didn't see people. I just put orders together. Fellow invited me to go to a JC meeting or a Junior Chamber of Commerce meeting. I remember telling my mother, I said, I don't know if I should do this or not. It sounds like they're a pretty special organization. They took me in, and then I participated in the public speaking course that they put on. And there were three of us. It was at the Beaverbrook Hotel. I was scared to death. My heart was pounding. But on the way home, I was driving my mother's 1961 Comet across the Carlton Street Bridge. And I thought to myself, this is the first time you ever spoke in front of a group of people that listened to what you had to say. And I thought to myself, that's powerful. That is powerful. The ability to communicate effectively is probably the most important asset you could ever acquire. So I went home and I promised myself, you're going to come back and you're going to conquer this. And I came back. And I came back, and I won, and I won, and I won. And then I went to Toastmasters, and I kept winning. Because it was a passion. I understood how powerful it could be. In my last Toastmasters competition in Hyannisport, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, I was runner-up in the World Semifinal Championships.
Wow.
And I made a mistake in my error.
Okay.
Had I not made that mistake, I would have won, and I would have been on the stage with the 8 best in the United States of America.
Wow. That's quite a story.
That is. What were some of the topics you'd speak on?
You know, we had to sign an affidavit that we made them up. They were ours. They didn't come from any place. It had to be ours. I did, my first one was on patriotism in Canada. And I was at CFNB, and I was practicing it one morning, and I got a 1967 disc out from the national anthem, and something just clicked. And I thought, what if I put music in this? So I backtracked it to when I was ending the speech. Don't stand up because you have to. Stand up because you want to. Stand up, and it's just a crescendo. And all of a sudden, the cymbal bangs, the song ended, and I just about passed out. I thought, I don't think anybody's ever done this before. You get music into a speech. So I did it. And I got a guy from the United States. He came over to me and he said, that was so well done. He said, I stood up and he said, I'm an American. And I said, isn't it powerful? So I was the first person ever to bring music into a speech. And then I went down to Hyannisport. I did one on world peace. And I used the Battle Hymn of the Republic. So it just happened. Another CFNB story.
Yeah, and then using your two passions, public speaking and music, and
Put
marrying
those
them together.
Yeah, and those are the two biggest things of my life, besides, of course, family. But outside of that, public speaking and music, and put them together, and what a great combination.
And when you ran for council, did you still work at the radio station? Did you still do that?
Yes.
And is that how it came to be, like mayor of the morning? Or?
Well, actually, I ran for mayor, and I was so proud because Jack Kennedy, everywhere he went, he had his Mayor Brad Woodside pin on. He supported me. He was a great man and mentor. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then I continued to be the mayor, so I would show up at 6 o'clock in the morning for the show, get up at 4:30 or 5, and I'd have to bring like a suit and stuff with me because I'd leave there and go down to City Hall, and I'd be sitting there meeting with an ambassador. And my doctor, Cal Bruce, I went to see him, and he said, you know what? He said, you're a human being, not a machine. You can't do this. You can't continue to do this. You can't get up and work radio and go all day at City Hall and then go out in the evenings and all the weekends.
Yeah.
He said, you're going to break down.
Yeah.
So I resigned from the radio station, sadly.
And what year was that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, I was first elected mayor in 1986. So it would have been probably 87. I did it for a while.
Wow.
And it was too much.
Yeah. But then back then, too, I don't think council or mayor was even really paid.
It wasn't when I left either.
30 years later.
True story. I was elected mayor, and the secretary was making more money than the mayor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was the first mayor that come along that really never had money. When you think about it,
Yeah.
You know, they
didn't
like
come,
William Walker had a store there in Queen Street. Bud Bird, of course, not a poor person.
Yeah.
And Ebby,
Wilkins.
you know, had a lot of real estate and stuff like that. It was different. And I mean, the money actually meant something because I had to sustain myself and my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, you know, we never took raises. I was there for that whole time, and I wouldn't ever accept a raise. I think it went up when I wasn't there. I think Councillor Brown made a motion that it would go up by the cost of living every year. And that was a big thing.
Yeah.
I just felt guilty to raise my own salary and vote on it. I just didn't seem right to me.
It's a tough one at all.
And I thought, you know, let the next council do it.
But then
But I didn't plan on being there that long.
And those early days as councillor, you had the Mayor Wilkins and others. Tell us about those early days. What it was first.
Mayor Wilkins. I used to go down and sit in his office with him. You know, he was just such a fine gentleman, soft-spoken, a great guy. Told jokes, a lot of jokes. I remember when I was elected mayor, somebody said to me, "You're going to continue on with telling jokes?" And I said, "Are you serious?" I said, "You don't follow Ebby Wilkins and go out and tell jokes."
Yeah.
I said, "I'll go out and sing." He never sang. But he was a great guy. He was like a farmer. You know, he wasn't like a city slicker. He was like a farmer. So when he said something to you, you could almost believe it.
Yeah.
And he was a very sincere person too. I really liked him a lot.
A great model mentor.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. There was no show. What you saw is what you get.
And you didn't just slide in on your election when you first got elected to council. In the second election, you had quite a showing of support.
Yeah,
the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, my first election, this is a great story. It's a little politics in it, but my first election, I ran against a guy who was a Rhodes Scholar. That was my first election for Ward 1. And I remember they took a big ad out in the Daily Gleaner, and all these people signed it for this guy that was running against me, including Everett Chalmers. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. And I called up Everett. And I said, "Doc," I said, "we go back a long, long way, man." I said, "You know, you put your name in the paper against me." He said, "Well, Brad, you know, Brad, I can support anybody I want to." And I said, "Doc, I admire you for that. I appreciate it. But you put your name out there, there's a lot of people like me that admire you that are going to think, well, he does it, I'm going to do it." So I said, "I just want you to know that I'm not happy. It was unfair." And I said, "You're too powerful in the community to get involved." So
yeah, well,
he was a deputy minister of something. I forget his name now.
Oh, wow.
And
you beat him.
The guy, I beat him. There was there was quite a few people running. Yeah, and his neighbor across the street, when I was doing the knocking on the door, he said, "Brad, you got my vote." He said, "That guy that's running against you," he said, "lives right across the street." He said, "He's never said a word to me until last week. He came over and introduced himself and how you doing and stuff, and he said, that told me everything I have to know about that guy."
Wow. And then your second election was running. No, well, when you first ran for mayor. No, your second election you became deputy mayor. Yeah. Because you had you mentioned Ralph Turnbull there earlier. Yeah. And then the third election was for mayor.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. 1986 or 87.
86.
So, yeah. Wow. And then the rest after that, 7 more terms as mayor. So.
7 more terms. So, you know, when somebody's elected mayor, say this time.
Yeah.
in order to outdo my record, they would have to be elected mayor 8 more times.
Yeah.
8 more times.
To beat your record.
And you know what? The Carr cousins probably won't be around to witness that.
No, because that's a long time. It's a long time.
It is a long time.
And you would have had like dozens or maybe a couple hundred different, maybe more, I don't know, of counselors to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, over the years.
Yeah. And you know, that's part of the mystique and the magic of being a mayor. It's not just, you're the mayor, you go out and cut a ribbon. You're dealing with 12 individuals who are 12 different personalities that require different attention.
Right.
When you're the mayor, you know who works, who doesn't. You know who you can rely on, who you can't. You know who's in it for whatever. You figure all that out, and all of a sudden you get everybody kind of working together. As long as they trust their leader. And I had my counselors always say to me, you were always proactive, not reactive. You could always sense something in the community and get out in front of it.
Right.
Now too much of reaction.
Yeah.
You cut the tree down. Well, you should have told us before you did it. Okay, and it's not difficult to do.
Like you just hit the nail on the head. If you set it up some beforehand, it's usually after the fact is when someone finds out something after the fact, then it just goes like wildfire. If you can set it up, and even if it's disappointing news, then it kind of tempers it down.
Somebody said to me one time, how do you do that? I said, because it's the community. I'm a part of a community. Yeah. I know what the community wants, what they don't want. That doesn't mean to say, well, I don't have to tell you guys the hardest thing for a politician to say is no. But it's necessary, and you have to defend why you're saying no. It would be easy to just give everybody everything they want. But that's the other problem when I mentioned this on my Facebook page. I'm very, very disillusioned. I'm not happy with governments at all levels and the money they're spending and the debt they're carrying. And I remind them, try and run your government like we run our homes. If you have $1,000 coming in, you can't have $2,000 going out. It's not going to work. And government should get that. It's a very simple message. It's not rocket science. And every level of government is spending too much money. And our taxes continue to go up, and we continue to pay. And people are not happy.
And you were known, a lot of your governments was pay-as-you-go.
Pay-as-you-go.
Don't have debt. You were the first.
I was on council when we started.
Were you the first mayor that put that in place?
No, I was on council. So that would have been prior to me being mayor. It would have been on council, but I voted on it, and the council voted on it to go as a pay-as-you-go philosophy, which was not popular at the time with anybody. But it really put us in good financial stead. And the city is no different than anybody else. They should run it very, very efficiently. So
and I think you followed that all through.
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
And you would explain that. It was a good way to understand it, not just I'm going to have a balanced budget, but we're going to pay as we go.
Yeah.
We're going to be responsible.
Well, I think that's a broader discussion that we can have in the second segment.
Yeah.
The different levels of government and what we see, and how things have changed since Brad has left council and mayor, and just what we see have changed since our time in government even. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Hi there, welcome back to the Carr Cousins Show. I'm Jack, it's episode 162.
And I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jody, the third of the three Carr brothers. And what an amazing guest we have, and an honor to have His Worship Mayor Brad Woodside.
Yes. Cousin Brad.
Cousin Brad.
Former mayor of the city of Fredericton.
It's
right here.
It's
former everything.
That's why I didn't want to say former.
It's been a treat. So far.
Longest serving mayor in Fredericton. 8 terms as mayor, 2 terms prior to that as councillor. 27 years as mayor elected, and a radio career before that and during, and so many other accomplishments. Actually, you were listing off a bunch of jobs that you had growing up and things like that, and did a whole variety of jobs. Actually, you rattled them right off. Quite something. And you said in the first segment is, you love them all, but the one that was probably the most fun and the most adrenaline charging was working on the radio. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that morning show, you had some quite a bit of back and forth. some right to the edge of the line, and with Dave Morrell.
Dave and I almost crossed the line a few times, and Jack was so supportive, but we did upset him a couple of times too.
Jack Xfinity.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you about the radio one time. You know the old Mercury commercials where they had the cougar? And the cougar would go, wow.
No. Yeah, we'll just keep going.
Might be some 70, 80-year-olds out there who remember this. But anyway, the guy that trained the cougars came into the radio station at 10 after 2 every afternoon. We'd do little interviews. So I'm sitting in Jack's booth, and he has the cougar lying on the table.
Is this true?
real
Is this
cougar?
true?
This is a true story.
Oh, wow.
This is a true story. He had a baby lion. It was only about this big. Beautiful little baby lion was on the floor that he brought in. And him and I are talking about this cat, this cougar. And I said, well, how do you make it do that? And he said, well, let me show you, Brad. And he reached up somewhere behind the neck like that, gave it a little squeeze, and that thing went. But that's not the story.
Oh.
This little thing was down eating on my ankle. And it hurt.
The baby lion.
Little sharp teeth. It was like a little shark. And anyway, I pulled my foot up and I said, you got to get that thing out of there. Like, I can't do this. That was one of the funny things that happened, the cougar, yeah.
I suppose you thought, well, if Johnny Carson can bring the
all
the animals, so can Dave and Brad. Yeah.
Yeah, I had an evangelist on one time. I can't remember his name, but he was quite famous, passing through town. And I'm sitting in the booth and we're talking, and he's just like a normal guy. And then all of a sudden he said, okay, you're on in 3, 2, 1. And then all of a sudden he transformed. He's like, well, thank you, Brad. Where did that guy come from?
He had his evangelical voice.
Well, he was a normal person, but when the spotlight was on him, he turned into an evangelist, like all full of vim and vinegar.
How did you not start laughing?
Who said I didn't? But it really shocked me. I mean, he just transformed into somebody. I thought, wow. Where's the guy that I was just talking to?
Well, you mentioned Dave Morrell, you and Dave. I mean, two legends on the radio, and but a lot of times us out in the communities, we went to tons of events. But it was after you guys sort of didn't do a whole lot of it. Maybe in the beginning of some emceeing, but we always would hear about. But I remember the time back. Dave Morrell and Brad used to come and do this event and things like that.
Yeah.
You'd do pageants and winter carnivals and Gary winter carnivals.
Is Brad coming back? Is Brad coming back?
The Junction.
Junction, another one.
If you're on radio and you want to be successful,
right,
you've got to get out and let the community see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I really love that, going out and playing basketball and playing hockey, playing baseball, the CFMB Schooner No Stars, they called us. But people want to see you. And then they'd see you and they'd say, I never knew you looked like that. I always pictured it to be something different because all they've heard was your voice on the radio. So, yeah, to be successful on radio, you've got to be out in the public a lot.
And then to MC all those events. I mean, that must have been a 7-day night job.
I must have did five or six international pageants in St. Stephen, I think it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, did a lot down in Gary.
Yeah. I remember in the 80s, speaking of getting out in the community, but early mid 80s, Dave Morrell would come out to Fredericton Junction with the Express to play softball against the old timers. Yeah,
with Brad.
Right.
With me.
You might have been.
Yes, I remember.
But that was about getting out into the community, and the kids we'd love it, just love it.
Clint Malarchuk was playing nets, and we were driving out there, and he said, I'd really like to play out. And I said, well, I used to play nets when I was in Bantam hockey, so I put Clint Malarchuk stuff all on. Well, once I fell down or got down, I couldn't get back up because there's so much equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have any of that stuff when I was playing Bantam. And then a guy comes in. His name was Richard David. He was a 50-goal scorer in the American Hockey League. Came in over the blue line, took a shot, and I'm like standing like that, and it zipped over my shoulder, and I skated out of the net, and I said to Dave Morrell, I said, I'm not doing that. He said, what's the matter? I said, what's the matter? Do you see that shot that guy just took? I'm not getting paid for this. And he said, don't move, they won't hit you.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to shift back time
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, this is great.
This is excellent.
All good stuff to hear about these stories. It's amazing. And
well, it's very similar to politics, really. Municipal, federal, provincial. Get out in the community, be seen.
You have to.
Talk to
And
people.
you guys did it a lot.
We
My
tried.
cousin Gloria.
You have to, though.
Yes,
Gloria,
yes.
God rest her soul.
She used to swear by you guys. And she said, Brad, she said, these guys are like nothing I've ever seen. She said, they're always there. They'll always take a call. They always show up. She said, she was a huge fan.
And she lived on our road, like across the road there from us on the branch road. And I always thought when I first got in politics that I always try to remember where you come from.
Yep.
And I was always working hard to make hopefully the people of Gary proud of us. So it's just you kind of and you seem to have that, like, your roots in this community, and
it clicked with her.
Clicked,
and you know what? You know her well. If somebody came to her door and wasn't the right way, she would not hold back.
No, she'd tell them.
So, I mean, you got her as a friend and as a believer and as a supporter.
Yeah, and it didn't matter which political party, really. It
did not matter to her.
No. And she was proud of you, though, Brad, because she often mentioned her cousin Brad as well.
I loved her a lot, talked to her a lot on the phone. I really miss her.
Yeah,
I know. So, before we went to our break, we kind of get into talking about disillusions with different levels of government, and they spend too much, and just, you guys at City Council were pay-as-you-go.
Yep.
How do governments get back to that now?
Well,
can they?
My estimation, governments are spending over their head.
Yeah,
for sure.
And like I said in the first segment, it's not rocket scientists. I mean, run the government like you run your home, and they don't do that.
No.
They're building palaces and everything else. And people realize that that's how they're paying for it. It's our taxes. The taxes are too high.
Mortgage in the future.
The taxes are too high. And generations will be paying. Generations have to pay for this.
Okay. And what have you seen change since your time on council or in politics?
Not happy with our downtown.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that people do drugs openly. I went to a State of the City address, and it was at noon. And while I was driving there were 4 ladies sitting at the Reed's coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
And right across the street, there was a guy laying down, sleeping. And I saw those 4 ladies, and I'm thinking to myself, are we sort of getting used to this? Like, it doesn't bother us? You see people sleeping homeless on King Street, and we don't pay any attention? And then I got down to the corner, there was a guy standing at the intersection with his hands hanging down and hooping and hollering on meth. And I'm looking, and I can't believe this is happening. When I was young, they had a drunk tank. Not that I was ever there, but if you're downtown, you're drunk, they put you in the drunk tank. Well, now people do drugs out in the open. I'll never accept that. You're doing drugs in the open, they should throw you in the back of a police car. And then you're taking your family downtown. And these people that are on this meth, the language and the hooping and the hollering, I mean, it would scare the... that's not fair.
Not in their right mind.
And a lot of changes downtown with a lot of stores closing or organizations closing, just moving. McTavish, as an example, went on the north side, and then different things like that. And it just seems to be a gradual
trend.
Death.
Jack,
of the downtown.
one of the biggest things that they're dealing with is theft.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've got a small business, that adds up. But it seems to be part of the social fabric now. Like, you go in and you can help yourself. Yeah, it's not good. And I mean, it's the same with cars. I mean, if you don't lock your car, they're going to go through it. And like, I've made the mistake a couple of times of not locking my vehicle, and both times I've got cameras and I see them. But they have to feed the habit somehow, and usually it's theft. And it's what I refer to as liberal socialism. We're not seeing it, it's there, and we're just ignoring it. And somebody has to take the bull by the horns and deal with it. And people say to me, when I belong to the past presidents club of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, and I've asked them, I said, what's happening in your communities with drugs and homelessness? And somebody said, well, Brad, it's like that all over Canada. And I said, I don't care about all over Canada. I care about Fredericton. So just because it's happening in other places doesn't mean that we have to do it.
Or not do it.
So, you've really got to stick by it. You've got to have a council that says we're going to take action. And the first council in the country that does that in an innovative way, in a compassionate way, okay? And there are ways to do it, I would suggest. they'll be the model for the entire country because everybody knows it, but nobody knows how to deal with it.
Right.
And not necessarily even know how to express it the way that you've done so well today, to express that with compassion, but also, just putting it out on the table. Let's talk about it. Your daughter, Carrie, she shared our Facebook post that you're going to be on the Carr Brothers show, and I commented on it. I said, thanks very much for sharing, Carrie. I said, Dad's a great guy, and but I said, he's missed, and that he speaks, he has straight talk from the heart and from the hip, and I said, we need more of that. And just hearing you talk, it's like, let's get the campaign going again, Brad. But we need leaders like that.
She's one of my biggest fans.
Yes, and not surprised.
I'm one of hers. And she hears it all the time. I mean, she knows where I'm coming from. She feels exactly the same on a lot of matters. And you know what? Most of it's common sense, isn't it? In government?
Yeah,
it is.
And we try and turn something into a complex issue, which is just common sense.
Well, and the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues too, Brad, is that when just like you just laid it out, you laid it all out. There's got to be a way to do it compassionately, and the people on the the side of it, they don't want to hear that there's another option. They just fight right to the end instead of sitting down and say, okay, let's figure this, let's talk this through. Here's my points of view, here's yours. But no, the people that defend it or think that we just let it run its course, they just jump right on an idea like that, and you can't have a conversation even.
No, and it's very sad commentary because it has to happen.
So we have municipal elections coming up here in May. There's information sessions, and what would you like to see? Do you have advice for people putting their names forward?
I've had some people call me.
Are you going to put your name forward? Can you announce it tonight, maybe, or give it another run? You yourself?
Do you have a physician? You should go get checked.
Dr. Chalmers?
I have to say, this happens all the time. And the last time it happened this week.
Yeah.
Somebody says to me, "Are you running?" Okay. I'm flattered by that. But I told them, I said, you know what? I said, when this next election comes around, I'm going to be 82 years old. Think about that. Like there's a time when a fellow has to stop and relax and take time.
It's true. So are you saying no, or are you saying you're going to think about it?
Is that a sure no?
You're going to think about it. Think about it. So you're going to think about it. Why don't you just think about it?
We'll give you 4 years to think about it.
You won't even have to do anything. We'll do it all for you.
I'm trying to get a doctor in a room at York Manor. I mean, I got priorities in my life as I get older.
Well, that'd be your campaign.
I'm not running, and I never thought about it. But what I told the people that have called me, and some have come to my house, I said, don't promise anything except one.
Right.
Make them one promise that you'll do as good a job and work as hard as you can to make this community a better place to live.
Yes.
And that pretty well covers it all.
Yeah.
So don't go out and say, well, we need a new rink or a new pool, and I'm going to do that. Don't do that because you can't.
No, that's right.
You're a member of a team. And if they all agree, it'll get done, but not because you said so. Wait till you get in there and you can work on that issue if that's an issue, but don't make a promise.
Yeah, that's great advice, and good advice to live by for anybody. Number one, it keeps them from committing to things they can't do.
Well,
because a lot of people do. They'll commit to all sorts of things.
Balanced budgets. So you're
and then
talking
when they
balanced budgets,
right. And then they get there and they're like,
taxes,
"Oh, I didn't realize I couldn't do that." Like there's a couple of counselors, I've been watching them in the city, and they probably spend more time on Facebook than they spend doing what they should be doing, which is out talking to people and knocking on their doors. And they're promising all kinds. I will promise to work hard at this. I promise to do that. I promise. And I'm thinking, man, you're getting yourself into a lot of trouble, because if you get elected, it's all there.
I said right from the very beginning, I'd make no promises. Only one.
That must be where I got that. That must be where you got it from. I just felt that's the best people. They don't want you to lie to them, the people. And if you're not going to get elected on your integrity and reputation, you're going to work hard and you have to make promises you can't keep, then there's no point in getting elected.
No. We're seeing it now. You see what happens when somebody during an election campaign makes a promise, and then a budget comes down and
$6 billion all of a sudden.
What happened to the promise? Like people would have been inspired and motivated to vote for you because we do want our governments to be more accountable with our money. And look what happened.
Yeah. So do you see anyone?
$1.4 billion a year.
That's crazy.
What do you see on the horizon for, the mayor of the city?
Fredericton coming up in the elections. The current
So
mayor.
we
Right now we have
got two candidates, candidate race.
Or do we want to wait and talk about that?
Whatever we think.
Well, we're coming to the end of the session soon, but
Okay.
I mean,
It's a big job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much bigger. The thing that makes it even tougher is social media.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
And social media is like the internet. I say is the greatest and the worst thing that was ever invented. There's too much division. There's too much hatred in our communities, in our country, in the world, and it's generated for the most part from people that are sitting behind a phone or a computer that won't look you in the eye and say it, but it's awful. The hatred and division in our communities right now is very, very bad.
Yeah. That's a big change since
It's a huge
since
change.
we were-
There doesn't seem to be the respect that we once had. There's no respect.
And sometimes that is the politicians' fault, I think, for making promises, breaking them, coming up with gimmicks, and not really producing, you know.
Yeah.
But
Well, just-
overall, though, people, the society, they're quick without actually rolling up their sleeves themselves, maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
or even educating themselves on the topic, and
Yeah.
they just go on. It's just it is. So
What
I think
I'd like to do is take over the Carr Brothers show. Well, do one by myself.
Yes.
You would be
Bring
great.
bring the politicians in and say, look, here's what you said and here's what you promised. Now tell the people what's going on. What happened to the promise? What happened? You know.
we
I
tried
wish
that
more
actually
people
about a
would
month
do
ago
that.
with the finance minister, and he said, "Well, the credit
Things
rating
changed.
companies, they said that we're going to be fine
Yeah,
because
you
our
got to
debt to
keep drilling
GDP
down.
ratios
You
are
got to
good."
make them
I know.
leave the room with their head between their legs.
I have.
And what did he say yesterday? Our credit ratings could be affected now. Well, yeah. We told you that a month
18
ago.
months ago.
And what were you saying about experience from the mayor getting elected and over time through the city, having experience or not on council? Like, what was that?
Oh, right. First, usually
A mayor should be on council first.
a mayor's
Well,
been on council.
to my recollection, in my time, there's never been a mayor elected that hasn't been on council first. Now, there's always a first time, but I mean, I don't know of anybody that hasn't gone to council first.
It really is good experience, though, to go through that first.
I've seen members of council get elected, and they, like we discussed earlier, they're doing a good thing now with these sessions.
Yeah.
I mean, you should know what you're getting yourself into because it's getting busier and busier and busier. But let me tell you, when I was mayor, my number was in the phone book. It still is.
Yes.
It still is.
I called you.
And I told my colleagues across the country when I traveled, I'd always tell them that. And they'd say, really? And I say, yeah, really. And I said, and guess what? I've been mayor for an awful long time, and I could probably take both hands and count the number of times that people have called me at home.
Yeah.
How? And I said, because I go out in the public. They get a
Talk to
chance
them
to
there.
talk to me
You're
and see me,
available.
so they don't have to call me at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
I think back, I had probably 3 people came to my front door.
I was there for one.
Yeah, and but very rarely, because you try to be available in the public. You have your office. You have you're out to community events.
Well, the events is the biggest thing. For
Yes,
them.
it
Like,
is.
I would, during my last 4 years, well, even before COVID came, the amount of people that visited my constituency office was like a low number. But if I was out at a breakfast, I could probably write down a dozen different notes that people
Exactly.
wanted to talk about or
Exactly.
whatever. And that's just where they saw you.
One-
But as time goes on, people feel more comfortable talking to their politicians in public, whereas maybe back in the 80s and 90s, they didn't want their neighbors see them talking to their
Well, you feel
politicians.
they're almost like friends rather than
Oh, yeah.
constituents.
Approachable they are.
One thing I forgot to mention, I had people that have come to my door, and I don't have too many complaints, so I really don't say a whole lot. But the one thing I was telling Kevin, Jeff on the way over, I said, one of the things I wish I would have talked about was these ridiculous speed bumps.
Let's get into that.
yeah.
Let's get into that in the last segment.
Yes,
let's get into
do
that story.
Oh, I
in the
want
last
to hear
segment.
more about that.
Yeah, we will. Brett, hate to cut you off, but we're going to just take a short break here. But we're going to get into some of these little stories about speed bumps and advice for upcoming and candidates that are looking to get in the game. Be right back.
Hi there, welcome back to the Carr Brothers Show. It's episode 162. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jody, the third of the three Carr brothers. And why we love this show, doing this show, is having local people that have accomplished big things, little things, and we have an amazing guest here tonight, is Brad Woodside, His Worship, Mayor of Fredericton.
Thank you for those very kind words.
Well, where was I when you were running for politics?
Where were you when I needed you?
We're behind you. We just didn't say how far behind.
I think it was Jimmy Wilson told me one time. He said, after the election was over, he says, if the people that come up to me and said, "Well, I'm sorry you didn't win, I voted for you," he said, if they were all telling the truth, I would have won. That's what he said to me.
Yeah.
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you had some good people you worked with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jeff, we were talking about some speed bumps.
Yeah, so you're getting into the
speed
discussion of warning people about speed bumps. So tell a little bit about that story, Brad. And
nobody showed up. Well, the people that have showed up at my door, I don't say a whole lot. Right. Other than don't make promises you can't keep.
People
but I never
people coming to look for advice on what to run
to candidates.
When they're running.
Yeah, candidates at the door. Yeah. And people have called. Okay. But I never mentioned once these ridiculous speed bumps.
So you just missed your opportunity to mention the speed bump.
And I thought, now's the time to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm on the Carr Brothers show, which is being,
it's broadcasted worldwide.
Millions of people. I want to say hello to all my friends in Japan.
Yeah.
But I forgot to say it. And here's the two things. Number one, I don't think they work. They're like little puff things, right? They're just a nuisance. And number two, enforce the speed in the communities.
You wouldn't need them.
Back when I was younger, Marysville used to have their own police force, and they always checked the speed. And us young guys knew that, so when we drove to Marysville, we slowed down. Well, they're not doing that in town. Get the cars out with the radar, start giving tickets. I'd probably get one, because I'm just like everybody else. I'm driving too fast. Why? Because we can. They're not doing anything about it. So the city can make a few bucks. And they can also tell people going through neighborhoods where there are children playing and you're going too fast is unacceptable, and we're going to charge you. Instead of these ridiculous
speed bumps.
And there's roundabouts that slow people down. Do you like those roundabouts that go down around?
I don't really have a problem with the roundabouts. I have a problem with all the speed bumps. And I mean, the first roundabouts that I'm familiar with were probably down in Moncton and Campbellton. So that's where they came from. And that goes back a long time.
They just spawn.
Well, they are more efficient.
And what about those cameras on stoplights? Traffic lights.
Yeah, they have red light cameras now. I mean,
is that privacy?
When I was mayor, I tried to get a camera downtown, and you wouldn't believe
the outcry, the pushback,
the outcry. Yeah. And I remember I was on Terry Segay's show, and he wasn't really too much in favor of it either. I was taking quite a beating, and I said, "Look, we're not interested if you're downtown, who you're with, or what you're wearing. We don't want people assaulting people, and that's happening, and it's unacceptable." So we did finally get a camera downtown and that outside the bars.
Yeah.
But I said to Terry during the interview, I said, "Do you have any cameras here at CBC?" He said, "Yeah, in the back."
Over the building.
I said, "Why?" I said, "That's the whole thing." I said, "Everybody doesn't want it." And you know what? I took it as far as to say we're having problems in neighborhoods, like Marysville was having a certain problem, or Devon. Somebody was having a problem. I said, we should have a portable camera. We take it into these areas where there's problems, put the camera up, and get some stuff on film. And now there's cameras everywhere. And look at the problem I had with one camera.
Well, you paved the way.
I paved the way. With speed bumps. And I'm not talking the bar.
Not talking the bar. What's your couple of your biggest accomplishments? That you point to.
One of my biggest, probably nobody even knows about, when the Regent Mall was suing the city, and it was for millions and millions of dollars, because we were supposed to be finished by a certain date and we weren't.
Okay.
And I really saw both sides of that. But the owner of Regent Mall was a good friend of mine, Jim Begg from Toronto. And we were getting ready to go to Discovery. And we were getting experts coming from California, if you can believe that. So this would have been a lot of money. And he was suing us for millions of dollars.
For not finishing the roadway.
For not finishing it on time. Disrupting the whole Regent Mall. Okay. So I called him one day. I said, "Jim, it's Brad. How you doing, Brad?" I said, "I'm doing fine."
In the middle of this.
This was just before the Discovery.
So against your lawyer's advice, probably.
Against the lawyer's advice. And I said, "Jim, we got a problem and I want to talk to you about it. I said, are you available? He said, yes, I am. He said, my horse is racing at, what's the racetrack in Toronto?
Oh, Woodbine?
Woodbine, yeah. He said, I'll take you there and we'll have a chat. So we went, had a drink, and we're talking, and I said, your customers are my customers.
True.
I said, at the end of this thing, we're calling in the experts. Everybody's getting paid money. I said, somebody's going to pay, and it's going to be your customers and mine. So who's going to win at the end of this? The lawyers? Mm-hmm. And he said, you got a good point. And I said, what do you say I apologize to you right here and tell you that I don't think you're wrong, but let's just get this over with. He put his hand out and shook hands with me, and I called Bruce Noble, and I said, forget about the discovery and the people in California. There is no lawsuit. This has been settled.
Well, isn't that? I got goosebumps. Goosebumps.
Yeah.
And,
That's how easy it can happen, though.
Wow. And then you mentioned apology.
I tried the same thing at McLean Sports.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I really did. And we got a letter from the lawyer's office, and I couldn't do it. I was on the verge, and I couldn't do it. I'm thinking, sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Don't go to court and fight. And I'm not so sure that he wasn't right either.
Right.
Well, of course he was, because he beat us. And that was unnecessary. That was money spent that didn't have to be spent. But legal people tell me, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. Well, I did it, and it saved a lot of money, millions of dollars. So that's something that people don't know about.
Well, and that philosophy, because you said you apologized, and it resolved, and it reminded me of way back when just before you got your first radio gig, was apologizing, and how that did dividends for you for your life.
Yeah, you shouldn't go through life without apologizing, because it means you've never been wrong. I've been wrong many times, and when I'm wrong, I will admit it. And if I do something wrong, I will apologize.
Yeah. So who do you attribute that to?
How that was
ingrained in your personality?
Probably
your
military upbringing. Respect for the country, respect for. Yeah, it's just a different way of life.
Because you were in the Air Force.
Well, I was in the Air Force, but my father was a career soldier.
Oh, your father, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you sort of got that discipline. Yeah, sometimes it's a little much.
But you never had anything handed to you.
Never, no.
Through all the years.
No, I started out as a stockroom clerk, $45 a week, I think, and I was a laborer at the Mactaquac Dam, digging underneath the huts so they could put things under there. I was an electrician's helper, a welder's helper. I worked at the library at the UNB as an electrician's helper. Drove a bread truck. Was in the Air Force. I managed Tilden Rent-A-Car for the province.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot of things. No, it wasn't easy. And I quit school halfway through grade 9 and joined the Air Force.
Wow.
So...
And then to speed up a little, when I saw you give that speech about the Air Force quitting, and then at a Turnaround Achievement Award, you spoke and gave inspiration to young people, and a lot of young people and people listening here tonight thinking, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. You gave an amazing speech on that because you went back and got your GED. Yeah,
get him in grade 12. There's only one thing standing in your way from you accomplishing what you want to accomplish. Look in the mirror. That's where you'll find the problem. If you are young and you want to do something, set your mind to it, and logistically plan out how you're going to accomplish it, and make it reasonable. And you can do it. You can do whatever you set your mind to do.
What advice do you give people that hear a lot about the naysayers that because you always have that, whether it's in your own mind or other people telling you and saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that?
Well, you're committing a crime against children if you're doing that.
But for people hearing that, though, to overcome the child, people discouraging you and saying, you always have naysayers in life. But how do you encourage people to ignore that?
I was bullied in the school ground in Devon until I joined a band, and then all of a sudden people started protecting me and looking after me, and I was no longer the kid that was teased. I was somebody. But before that, I was teased terribly on that school ground. So, I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of things going for me, and I certainly didn't feel positive about myself. So it's a struggle. And the struggle's with yourself. So with the naysayers, all of these people, if you believe in yourself and you believe that you can do it, and you believe you want to do it, none of that will stop you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And that applies to everybody. And anybody that says all of these other things, that was my upbringing, I didn't have a family, those are excuses. And we all have lots of excuses. Why we couldn't do this, why we couldn't do that. There's only one person you have to deal with besides God, and that's yourself.
Wow, that's great. That's great
Very
advice.
well said.
It's really humbling.
Yeah.
I'm getting emotional.
Well,
yeah.
This is a great. It's the passion that we've all known from you, and the conviction in your beliefs, and again, straight talk from the heart and from the hip.
Absolutely.
And I think that is what's one of the things that we just need. If there's candidates out there, people running in council and provincial, it's just having that straight talk from the heart and from the hip.
And be who you are when you show up.
Right.
Don't be somebody else. Don't be the evangelist that I interviewed that changes his personality because all of a sudden I'm on the air, and it's like, okay, be that same person on the street, at the market, wherever you are.
That's great advice. Anything you have that you want to still accomplish? Anything that you would like to be involved with, or
That's
to see happen?
That's a great question. You know,
because you're 82, but you're not dead.
I'm not 82. I said I'll be 82 in 4 years.
70. Well, you're 78. I thought I heard something. I guess I'm not.
Yeah, you did. Probably said my mother-in-law was 99, but that doesn't mean I am.
Well, I think
Brad
it was a
said
test to see if he catch
Brad said
on
if
to
he
it.
ran this time at 78 in 4 years, he'd be 82.
Oh, I guess I wasn't a very good politician listening there at all.
No,
I wasn't listening to your advice.
I would never knock on your door.
I'm getting rusty.
Well, we've got 2 minutes.
Okay.
What would you like to accomplish?
Okay, you asked the question.
Yes.
Okay. My last 2 years in office wore me down. It was too much. I visited China twice in 1 month. I got home on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
I traveled the country to every province and spoke. I was so busy. I was around the world twice. And
is that because you were the president of the
of
Canadian?
FCM.
Yes.
And taxpayers did not pay for this.
Yeah.
I think that's important. That was never done. But I wore myself out. I should have never ran for mayor. I should have said 10 terms and it's enough.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have done a good job in retrospect. When people ask me if I could run now or will you run, no, I can't.
Yeah.
Because it's too big a job. It takes energy.
Yeah.
And I got the passion. I'll always have that.
Yeah.
But I don't play hockey anymore. I don't do gymnastics anymore, and there's a reason for that. You get to a certain age.
Yeah.
So no, I don't do anything.
No.
I rest. I watch television. I play with the grandkids.
Awesome.
And that's all I want to do. Because I've paid my price.
Well, that's what I was looking
And
to
now
see.
I'm resting.
I was looking to see what's your goals.
That's a great goal.
Building your family.
Yeah, I think I've really accomplished what I set out to do. From that time at the Beaverbrook Hotel with the JCs to Toastmasters to council, including the Mactaquac Dam.
Yeah.
I've done it. I've got the T-shirt.
Well, it's like
and
that.
It's time.
It's that song, "My Way."
Yeah.
And now the end is near. Oh yeah.
Oh, keep
It's
going.
one of my favorite songs, written by Paul Anka,
Yeah,
Do
Canadian.
you want to do another line of that?
I don't think I should because
Well, we just probably have a couple more seconds.
don't have much time.
Ann Woodside, she's been with you these years. And,
I think it's our 44th anniversary coming up, and she just got her 40th year pin for IODE.
Oh, wow.
She's the president again this year.
Wow.
So she's done an amazing job in the community as well, but you don't kind of hear about it. She's like a quiet contributor.
Yes.
But a very special lady. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for her.
No, wouldn't be able to be
She's
at
the
all.
glue that has held our family together.
Yeah.
And I've been sort of the disruptive one, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So
well,
she's a special lady.
Yeah, from North
And
Side.
I love you guys. I always have.
Well, you know,
I'm always proud to say you're my cousins because, you did such a great job in politics. You did it the way it should be done. And that comes from my cousin who called it like it is.
Called it like it is, too.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. But you do see some similarities with what you believe in and what we've tried to do, and probably that's in the genes. Then it's the Carr.
I think it's in the genes.
The genes.
Well, we can say,
appreciate
too,
you,
we
too.
love you, too.
We love you too, and you talked about hatred around the world, and people do say, "Let's say I love you" more often. because we just don't know anyone's.
I never let a day pass that I don't say it to people 3 or 4 times. I even say it to other people, like my friend I told you, Jerry.
Yes.
I told him every night I loved him.
Yeah.
I tell my friends, I didn't get that when I was really young, and that's another story.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's something that has to be said because it's so meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's a great place to end it.
Well, that's great. We love you. The viewers love you, appreciate you, and the legacy you're leaving, and you're still spending time giving a few pieces of advice. Which is great.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.